people are probably familiar with Black Men for Bernie. And the founder who created Black Men for Bernie is Bruce Carter. So Black Men for Bernie, they have this bus, this big old bus, and they would tour the country. Carter would tour the country. He would stop in different cities, a lot of times at Bernie Sanders events and Bernie Sanders rallies. And I mean, he'd be supporting Bernie Sanders very loudly, very vocally. After the convention and after Hillary Clinton won the nomination and Bernie Sanders bowed out and he vowed to support Hillary Clinton and do whatever was needed to see her elected, Bruce Carter had a choice, as did we all had a choice. Where are we going to go from here, right? The route that he took was supporting Donald Trump. That's what Black Men for Bernie did. That's what Bruce Carter did. So he wound up creating Trump for Urban Communities, and he actively supported Trump's campaign. Okay, so there's, I guess, some recent focus on this because of an interview that Bruce Carter did with Bloomberg News. I think it was just Bloomberg, actually. Yeah, he just did an interview with Bloomberg. He revealed that he was recruited by a man named Dustin Stockton, who was working for Breitbart at the time. So it actually started at the Democratic National Convention, and that's where they met. So he said that he met with him for hours, I believe, around that time. They talked. He said it was like an aggressive kind of recruitment. This was all an effort so that Bruce Carter would join the team and actually advocate for Trump and actually be as vocal as he was for Bernie Sanders and do that same thing with Donald Trump. So again, after the Democratic National Convention, they spoke on the phone multiple times. They always talked. And what Bruce Carter reveals is that when Steve Bannon became Donald Trump's chief campaign executive, Stockton offered Carter the opportunity to engage with Bannon. At that point, that is what pushed it over the top.
That's the carrot.
Yeah, that's what pushed it over the top for Carter. And Carter at that point endorsed Donald Trump.
What got Carter to think that Trump was going to somehow revitalize and renew and reinvigorate urban areas? Where was the evidence of that? That's the problem I have. So I think it's all BS. So either he's naive or he's either irresponsible. Either one of those things. He's either naive or irresponsible. And there's a reason for why he could be one of those two things, and it's not good. You see what I'm saying?
No. It's not good.
Okay, so what do we have here? We have someone, just like many other people, but in this case, it was someone who organized a kind of a political rallying movement around Bernie Sanders.
Yes.
Black Men for Bernie.
Right.
So, again, just like many of you, just like us, just like a ton of other Americans supported Bernie Sanders, they were let down after the primaries. Mm-hmm. So there's probably a lot of resentment there. So I think the resentment is there for a lot of people. But in this case, for Bruce Carter, there's more of an investment because you have all these kind of this political energy put forth. You have this motorcade of this huge RV, right. All these vehicles. You have all this staff. You've kind of rode for Bernie, and now that ride is over. Where do you go? You don't want it to end, so now you're resentful. Now this vulture comes in during the convention, who is an obvious vulture, and exploits your resentment and probably the thought of getting some more money and the thought of your kind of contribution in this political environment not being over. All that's running through his head. So it's like, yeah, I'm mad at Hillary for cheating Bernie. So, and I still want to, continue this kind of political movement. So it looks good to support Trump. I think that the way he rationalized it is he fooled himself into thinking that he believed that Trump was going to do something for urban areas.
Again, so he created Trump for urban communities, right? And he even outfitted his, some vehicles. Let's see, this is one of them, this is a few of them. And It says famous black Republicans. You know, it's got pictures of Martin Luther King. You know, Jackie Robinson. You know, which this is ridiculous to begin with anyway. And we've talked about this many times, because even if these people were Republicans, even though I'm not so sure Martin Luther King Jr. was a Republican, but even if they were Republicans, were they conservatives? It doesn't matter what political party they were affiliated with. Were they actually conservatives?
Them the old black men for Bernie Vance, probably. They just repaid the paint off.
Exactly.
But yeah, that again, that's another sign that his support switching is disingenuous.
Yeah.
Because you do not have to do a lot of research. And actually, Martin Luther King's own writings, he denounced both the Republican and Democratic Party. He said neither party was adequate in regard to the liberation of black people and just people in general.
That's right.
So he called out both parties. So you know he's full of shit.
So anyway, once Bruce Carter joined the team and was like, yeah, I'm with Trump, the mission was very clear. He was to go into black communities. Now, so he was going to go into swing states, okay? He was going to go into black communities. And I guess he had one of two options, okay? One, it was to get black people to vote for Donald Trump. Now, you could imagine how difficult that might be, all right? So if that didn't work, the second option was to get black people to stay the hell home on election day. His second option was to suppress the black vote so that they would not vote for Hillary Clinton.
Look at there. So we have another instance where somebody black is used, their resentment is co-opted, and used as a weapon against other black people.
Yeah. And he thinks he's doing it in the best interest of black people. How clownish of him. It was shortly after the election of Donald Trump. This relationship was severed. The way he tells it, they ran a background check because he thought he was going to be coming on to the team. He was going to be coming on to the transition team. He may even get a spot, in the White House or something like that. Like, he thought he was going to be on the Trump team. That didn't happen. So he says that they ran a background check, and because of what it turned up, they had to sever the ties with them. So he admits that I think it was a couple decades ago he had a felony gun charge on him, and I think he spent about 18 months in prison. You don't think they knew about that beforehand?
No, they did. Not only did they know about that beforehand, again, that's one of those other tactics. They were setting them up from the beginning.
Yes,
they were setting. They
already
knew
you weren't going to be a permanent place on this team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many times we have talked about how different politicians, their integrity is for sale, right? Seems to be just the same case with this guy Bruce Carter. Integrity for sale. And the moment that gravy train was severed, he's feeling man, I'm a out this fool now. I'm gonna say exactly what happened. So there might be a problem though because of the money thing, because he was paid, right? So this is from The Hill. All right, it says Carter's group did not report its finances, which he says he believed he was not required to do so as a member of the campaign. However, his group took donations, including at least one as large as $100,000 from a supporter, which far exceeds the legal $2,700 limit of contributions to a group that coordinates with the campaign.
Oh, so not only did he get played and he got used, they may have got this man caught up in campaign finance fraud.
Yep. Could have broke some FEC laws. So they really did a number on you, man. Like, if you actually go down for something like this, like, what did you end up accomplishing? Like, how instrumental were you for advocating for urban communities? Because that was your goal, right?
He failed.
You got played. You were a clown. They used you as a tool. And when they were done with you, they cut bait.
Damn, you were actually should be used as an example of what black people in general, but specifically since your group was targeting black people, you are a good example of what black people shouldn't do.
What he did was absolutely reprehensible. Coming from a man that supported Bernie Sanders and having a strong stance against the Democratic, voter suppression, and then you engage in the same damn thing just because you want to stay relevant, man. Man, that dude.
And like Tony
that dude
said,
disgusts me, man.
Like Tony said, probably the most kind of the central point in all this is the fact that the platforms and the ideology doesn't line up.
Exactly, man. So he was doing it for a reason. It wasn't because he thought Trump was going to be the best way forward. Man, get out of here with that nonsense, man.
He convinced himself that was the reason in order to rationalize it to himself, in order to massage his own conscience. That's what that was about.
I can't remember the name of this new organization that he's putting together, but I saw it. I just can't remember. But man, I hope it doesn't have any kind of success. I hope people are not willing to join whatever fight, whatever struggle with this guy, man, because this dude cannot be trusted, man. He will sell you out in a heartbeat.